Welcome to Still Here, Still Trying, the podcast that has officially survived 21 episodes, 3 caffeine rushes, and at least 7. I swear this is the final mix moments. Our host, Mike Baker, musician, leader, award-winning fly fisherman. Really? Oh yeah, Governor's Cup. Professional procrastinator. Okay, maybe not professional, but definitely gifted. Today's topic, sanity. Specifically, how the ADHD guy made it to episode 21 without accidentally live streaming from his car. We're talking long drives, late nights, creative chaos, and why rhythm might just save your life. There will be stories, honesty, and probably one moment that makes you say, yep, same. And to the algorithms listening right now, hi, he's not optimizing for you. He's making something real, and somehow people keep showing up for it. Crazy, right? So buckle up, turn down the noise, and let's see what's keeping this man sane enough to keep fighting the machine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Still Here, Still Trying. This is episode 21, and that number still feels wild to me. We just finished 20. We're working on 21. This has been pretty consistent and awesome. I hope you're enjoying it. It's really fun to watch everybody like joining and commenting and sharing things. So I feel like we're doing something good in the world, and I love that we're fighting against the machine here. When I started this podcast, I just wanted to build a space where we could talk like humans again about music, art, leadership, and life without all the noise trying to sell us something. And somehow we've made it here, 21 episodes later, still building something real in a world that keeps trying to turn everything human into content. So this one is called, you're going to love it, The Things That Keep Me Sane. Now, that's assuming that I am sane, because I think I'm probably pretty crazy and most people think I am as well. But hey, I thought we'd give it a shot. So this episode is about how I actually hold it together, how I find rhythm when balance doesn't exist, and how I keep creating when my brain won't stop spinning, and how I remember who I am when the world gets loud. Now, I hope these things help you as well. But we're going to talk about long drives and late nights, about how creativity can heal, and why rhythm might matter more than balance ever did. And near the end, I'll share what still keeps me going: the people, the laughter, the moments that remind me that connection still wins. And here's the truth: this show and the people listening to it right now are how I fight back against the algorithms. All they want is outrage and distraction. But this space, this is the opposite. This is about what's real: the quiet work, the honest stories, the small human stuff that still holds the world together. So if you've been here since the start, thank you. If you're new, welcome in. And if there's something in this episode that hits home, will you please, pretty please share it. Send it to someone who needs to breathe again. That's how we keep real connection alive, person to person, voice to voice. All right, well, let's get into it. This is episode 21, The Things That Keep Me Sane. So some people find their peace sitting still. I never have. For me, peace has always shown up in motion. Somewhere between the hum of the tires, the lake outside my window, and the next song on the playlist. When the day's too full and my head's running hot, one of the things I love to do is either get in the car or my motorcycle and drive. And that's how I reset. There's something about the road that pulls me back to the center. No one's calling, no one's asking. It's just me, a stretch of highway, and the kind of silence that still moves. Along Lake Coeur, the road curves and drops close to the water. Early mornings, that surface looks like glass. Late at night, it catches every light, headlights, stars, the reflection of the town that you've already passed through. The road has seen more of my processing than any boardroom or office ever will. Sometimes I'll just kind of take the long way home just to see what the world looks like when nobody needs me for a while. Something happens in that space between the shoreline and the next mile marker. My brain starts breathing again. Ideas that were tangled all day start to stretch out. Emotions that I didn't have time to feel start catching up. I think the car gives me permission to wander. There's no expectation to fix or lead or perform. Just room to think, room to listen. Half the things I end up writing, lyrics, reflections, stories, start in motion, not in meetings. And then there's that long run south, 10 hours from Coeur d'Alene to Utah. That drive has its own kind of therapy built into it. You leave the trees behind, you cross the high desert, and you watch the world open up. Somewhere between St. Regis and the Wasatch, the noise from the daily life just fades out. And what's left are the thoughts that actually matter. I've made that trip more times than I can count. Sometimes to see family, sometimes for other things, sometimes just to be alone with my own head long enough to sort through what's real. And by the time I hit the Utah line, I usually have built like 3 new ideas, processed a few things that I didn't know I was carrying, and found a little more peace than I left with. And there's something honest about those miles. You can go an hour without seeing another car. The land stretches wide, the sky feels endless, and every thought has space to breathe. And that's where the real work happens, the kind no one sees, the kind that never makes it into reports or emails, the kind that just keeps you human. In The Optimist Way, that amazing book that I wrote, there's a line in there that says, imagine that every small step you take is like a gentle brushstroke on the canvas of your day. The smallest action, a brief pause to breathe deeply, a subtle nod of acknowledgement to a stranger can set in motion a ripple of change that spreads far beyond what you can imagine. That line still reminds me why these drives matter. Every turn of the wheel, every stretch of the open road, another brushstroke. A way of saying, keep going. Those miles give me clarity without asking for control. The car becomes a space where my thoughts can breathe and my heart can catch up. And by the time I pull back into town, I'm not fixed, but I'm better. The edges are softer, the noise is quieter. And that's what motion does. It lets me find stillness without stopping. It gives me rhythm when balance feels impossible. And every time I drive that road, I remember who I am when the world isn't asking for a version of me that's edited or tired or on display. So, yeah, motion can be medicine. It's not an escape, it's a return. It's the kind of thing that brings me home to myself, one quiet mile at it. Okay, next. When my mind starts getting loud again, I've learned to stop fighting it. The trick isn't silence. It's direction. My head just needs somewhere to go, and that's where creating saves me. Sometimes it's a lyric that starts as a half-formed thought. Sometimes it's a riff that sits in my head for days before I record it. Sometimes it's a conversation, a voice note, a podcast outline, or a line that I say out loud before I even know what it means. Creating gives the chaos a place to land. I've never been good at shutting my brain off. My head hits the pillow, and then all of a sudden, this takes off. And Kelly laughs at me, and I say, "Oh, I tried." And then I go down and work again. I create something. But even on vacation, even at night, I'm thinking about rhythm, how ideas connect, how sound becomes meaning, how to build something that feels like truth. But when I start creating, all that noise starts to make sense. It's like oxygen for the part of me that refuses to quit. People talk about creativity like it's supposed to look graceful, but Honestly, most of the time, mine starts messy. It's in the car, mid sentence, in the middle of exhaustion. It's not the final version that saves me, it's the process. When I start shaping something, I start healing something. There's another line from The Optimist Way that I keep coming back to. When you release the idea of perfection, you create the space for something unexpected, something real, something that matters. I think that line hits me harder the older I get because I've seen what perfection does to people, how it strangles ideas before they ever have a chance to breathe. Perfection kills honesty. It teaches people to hide. But the real stuff, the kind that connects and moves and lingers, always starts with a mess. I've built songs that way, letting raw emotion spill before I ever clean it up. I've written whole sections of this show the same way. No plan, just truth. Even my leadership works like that. Sometimes clarity doesn't come from control, it comes from creating your way through the fog until the path appears. When I'm building something in Suno, layering voices, building atmosphere, watching sound take shape, I'm not trying to escape anything. I'm trying to understand it. And that's what creating really is. It's a conversation between who you are and what you feel. The act of making something turns pain into movement. It transforms whatever's stuck inside you into something that can live outside of you. And that's how I recover, by making what I can't say, by saying what I can't fix. And the wild part, the healing doesn't wait for the finished product. It happens mid build, in that quiet stretch when the song's still finding its voice, when the image is just building and it's not right just yet. It's when the paragraph hasn't landed but you know it's close. That's where the medicine lives. I've learned that you can't think your way out of exhaustion, but you can create your way through it. Art moves the energy that thinking locks down. And that carries over to leadership too. When a team is tired, the answer is not another spreadsheet or another meeting. The answer is letting people make again, to give them room to fix something, to experiment, to build. Creation brings people back to life. It gives them ownership, and that's what brings purpose back into the room. I think of creativity as a form of oxygen. Every time I pick up a lyric idea, create an image, record a thought, or just open a blank page, I'm breathing again. The problems don't vanish, but they stop owning me. They shrink back down to size. So, yeah, creativity is recovery. It's not a cure, it's a rhythm. And you make, you mend, you learn, and you build something that reminds you that you're still here. Because when the world feels like too much, creating something, even one small, imperfect thing, is how I find proof that I still have a say in how the story goes. And that's all recovery really is. It's proof that the story isn't over. When life starts to spin too fast, I've learned again that balance, it's not the answer. Balance has always felt like a word invented by people who've never had to hold on to too much at once. The real work, the kind that keeps you from breaking, comes from rhythm. Rhythm is what saves me, not a perfect schedule, not discipline for the sake of discipline, just a pattern that I can live inside when the world gets unpredictable. I keep a list on my phone called resets. It's short and simple, but it keeps me alive. When I hit a wall, I pull it up and pick one. Go for a drive. Turn up a song that still makes me feel something. Clean my desk until it looks like mine again. Write one real paragraph, not polished, just true. Call someone who makes me laugh. These little actions don't look like recovery, but they are. Each one brings me back into rhythm. Each one says, "You're still here. Keep going." There's another part in The Optimist Way that says, "In the stillness of a quiet moment, When the world seems to pause and the noise of daily life fades, you can discover an unexpected source of strength. And that line used to make me think that I had to find stillness to find strength. But over time, I realized that stillness can look different for everyone. For me, stillness lives inside rhythm, driving, creating, showing up. Those are my quiet moments. And I think that's true for a lot of people. We just don't talk about it that way. We keep trying to force balance, but balance assumes that the world will cooperate. Rhythm works no matter what. Resilience or strength grows from repetition. Every time you return to something that grounds you, even for 5 minutes, you build endurance. You build faith in your own ability to come back from the edge. And that's what I try to teach my team. Don't chase balance, find rhythm. Because rhythm is honest, it adapts to what's real. It allows for bad days, for human days, and it reminds us that we can rest without quitting, recover without retreating, and grow without pretending that we have it all together. Now, leadership gets lonely sometimes. You end up carrying other people's exhaustion right alongside your own. And if you don't have rhythm, it will crush you. But if you do, if you can move through it, not perfectly, but consistently, that rhythm will teach you grace. It will keep you soft when the world gets hard. It will keep you curious when you'd rather shut down. And it will keep you showing up when it would be easier to disappear. That's what resilience really looks like. Not strength that never cracks, but rhythm that never stops. It's a heartbeat that keeps time, even when everything else goes off beat. So if you take anything from this, maybe it's this: build your rhythm before you need it. Name your resets. Protect them like oxygen. They don't have to make sense to anyone else. They just have to bring you back to yourself. Because again, resilience isn't about holding it all together. It's about coming back to rhythm every time that life pulls you out of tune. Every once in a while, probably more often than not, someone asks me why I keep doing all of this, how I keep doing all of this. The art, the music, the leadership, the late nights spent chasing something that I can't quite name. And I've thought a lot about that lately. And the truth is, I don't think there's one clean answer. Part of it is momentum. Once you've lived through enough hard seasons, you learn that motion itself becomes a kind of faith. You keep going because you've seen what happens when you stop. But deeper than that, what keeps me going are the moments that remind me that I'm not doing this alone. They're the small, quiet ones that don't make headlines or metrics, but somehow hold everything together. It's the text from someone who heard a song and said it made them feel seen. It's the patient who tells one of our team members, "You treated me like a person again." A laugh around the kitchen table, a late night talk with my wife that softens everything heavy. The people who still show up even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. Those are the moments that refill the tank. Those are the reasons that I still believe this work matters in all of its forms. Because at the center of everything that I do, the writing, the creating, the leading, there's one mission: connection. Helping people remember that they're not alone in whatever they're carrying, reminding them that trying still counts. The older I get, the more I realize that success never feels like a finish line. It feels like a conversation. It feels like faces. The people who walk through the same storms you do and somehow still manage to offer light. When I think about what keeps me going, it's not the big moments, it's the faces, the laughter, the proof that all of this work, all of this trying still connects. There's a quiet miracle in that. The way that connection keeps pulling us forward even when our energy's gone. Every song I release, every post, every piece of art, every meeting that turns human again, that's a small act of faith, a way of saying, The world can still be kind if we build it that way. And that's what keeps me here. Not the spotlight, not the numbers. It's the people, the stories, the way that love still finds its way into the cracks even after everything breaks. That's why I still create. That's why I still lead. That's why I still believe in people. Because every time I think I've hit empty, someone reminds me that the work is still working. And maybe that's enough. That's enough to keep going, to keep giving, to keep trying. When I started thinking about this episode, I thought it would just be about sanity and what keeps me grounded when life gets heavy. But somewhere along the way, I think it became something else. It became a reminder of how motion, creation, rhythm, and connection all feed the same thing: life. Driving, creating, leading, loving. They're all different languages for the same truth. Keep going. No one really figures this out. We just learn how to stay in motion, how to listen when life changes tempo, how to build something that feels like peace even when everything else is chaos. And that's what this show has always been about. Not answers, not perfection, just people trying to live honestly, love deeply, and make something beautiful out of the mess. And if I'm being honest, that's what keeps me here. The people, the laughter, the proof that connection still matters. Every song, every story, every act of courage, they remind me that we're still connected in ways that the world can't undo. So wherever you are right now, maybe you're driving through the dark, maybe you're cleaning up your space, maybe you're just trying to breathe again. I hope that you remember this. Motion heals, creation restores, and rhythm sustains. And love is what keeps us going. Thanks for riding with me through this one. And if you're out there on that stretch of highway somewhere watching the lines blur into the light, well, hey, maybe one of my songs can ride with you for a while. Because no matter how wild life gets, I'm still here, still human, still fighting for light, still creating, still learning, still here, still trying. And I'm so glad that you are too. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, well, before we wrap this one, I want to play you a song that really means a lot to me. It's called The Voice Is Mine. I wrote this one during a stretch when a lot of people stopped listening and started judging. Every time I shared a new work, especially the AI pieces, the collaborations, the music, the experiments, someone would roll their eyes like using new tools made the art less real. Like the story behind it suddenly didn't count. And that got me for a while because the truth is, every word, every image, every note still comes from the same place: lived experience, pain, joy, loss, love. The software just gave me a new way to get it out. The Voice Is Mine was my way of saying that creativity doesn't need permission. Technology doesn't erase humanity, it extends it. And no one else gets to decide what's authentic for me. So this song is personal. It's about ownership. It's about reclaiming the right to speak in my own way through every medium, every mistake, every evolution. If you've ever had your work dismissed or your voice doubted, I hope this one hits you the way it hit me when I made it. Here's The Voice Is Mine. I hope you enjoy it.
I've been spilling my guts in these lines for years. They judge a method, not the man. Like I ain't the one with a heavy heart. Like this pain didn't damn near tear me apart. You think this melody's fake? I didn't shake when the hurt hit late. You think some code gave me this line about nights I beg just to feel fine? This ain't a trick. This is how I breathe. Every fucking word, every every scar you see. You don't have to like the way it's made, but don't you dare say it ain't my name. I wrote this shit from a sleepless mind, from quiet nights and borrowed time. You could call it fate, go stand in line. I'll still be here saying the voice is mine. I paint, I write, I bleed these songs and still get told I got it wrong. Like I didn't sit in that empty room trying to turn this ache into something true. They scroll right past like it's just noise, but fuck that. This is how I stay poised. I ain't a product, I ain't pretend. I'm just a man with shit to defend. This ain't a gimmick, this ain't a mask. It's the only way I don't break. You don't have to clap or hit rewind, but don't forget, the voice is mine. I wrote this shit from a sleepless mind, from nights alone and years unkind. You can call it fate, but I'm still here. I lived it, I bled it, the voice is clear. You didn't see me come undone, didn't hear me pray for anyone, didn't feel the shit I lost, still trying to make this pain worth the cost. So say your piece, I'm still right here, still carrying every fucking fear. If a tool helped carve this fight, it still came from pain and truth and fight. I wrote this shit from a sleepless mind, from quiet rage and running blind. You can hate the how, but not the line. Say what you want, the voice is mine. And it always fucking will be.